Hello, you guys. All right, so this is going to be a tutorial to make paper roses out of coffee filters. So I scoured the YouTube and I tried to make roses from all sorts of materials using other paper materials, and this tutorial was one of the best, had the most realistic roses that I could find. So I'm going to go over everything that you need to know, how to make these roses and how to make it easy as possible. Even if you're a novice at arts and crafts, you can still do this, make these roses. They're not difficult at all, and it's very quick, the method that I'm going to teach you. Okay, so your materials are coffee filters. So these are just coffee filters that we had laying around. They were given to us basically. And there's two different sizes. So the first size is going to be the 8 to 12 cup. That is going to make bigger roses. And then you have your 4 cup, and that one's going to make a little bit smaller roses. So I suggest getting both of these. You don't have to get the exact manufacturer that you see here. Any coffee filters are going to work. Both of these have like 200 each, and it will make a lot of flowers. So just know that there's two different sizes. If you want bigger flowers, go with the 8 to 12 cup. If you want smaller to medium flowers, go with the 4 cup. So there's lots of different ways to paint your flowers. I have the acrylic paints. You can use watercolors, you can use food coloring, you can use ink. The least expensive for paint is going to be a watercolor palette or these acrylics. And of course, the least expensive of them all are going to be the food coloring drops. With the food coloring, you're going to have to paint your flowers a different way. You're going to have to mix the food coloring with water, and then you're going to have to dip your coffee filter like you're dyeing Easter eggs. I don't really like that method only because it takes a while for these to dry, and this is supposed to be a fast, easy way of making flowers. So I wouldn't recommend that method, but it is a really good technique. It makes different kinds of roses. So if you want to try that technique, you're more than welcome. The one that we are going with is the acrylic paint. Now, if you do decide to do the watercolor paint, you will do the exact same way that I'm using the acrylics, which is you will water these acrylics down and then you will paint your roses from there. So the colors that I have for my color palette are going to be this metallic color, and this is metallic stone. It's just a nice light pink metallic color, and I have all of the colors swatched right here down below. The metallic colors, you don't have to water them down because if you do water them down, it won't show up on your coffee filter rose. So I would suggest just painting it straight from the tube. The next color I have is buttermilk. Next to that is going to be sugared peach. You can see the color swatches right there. And the last color is going to be light buttermilk, which is one that I really enjoyed. Obviously, there's a lot of paint on the outside of that. Also, I do recommend adding a little depth to your flowers. So I am going to go over that once I show you one of the flowers that I've made. The paint that I used for that is the Butter Pecan. So all these colors, they complement each other. You can intermix them and make more colors. So the sky's the limit here on your colors. And let's go move on to the next items that you're going to need to make these roses. So the pin is basically to fold your petals underneath. It's just an added technique that makes your roses a little bit more authentic looking. So that is what the pin is used for. Also, you can use a toothpick. It can pick the petals apart because when they get wet with the paint, they kind of stick together. And this is a good tool to use in case you need it. The next thing you're going to need are tweezers. These are a must. We are going to be working with hot glue gun, so the glue definitely is very hot through the paper, so it's good to have tweezers to press the paper down and not burn your fingers. Also, it's good to pick petals apart with tweezers. The next thing you're going to need is something that I just found around the house. So most people just end up buying some sort of wire to make their rose stems with. And for me, I did not go to the store. I just found what I had on hand, and I found that these paper clips work just fine. So after that, assembling your roses or putting them in a vase or something, whatever you're using your roses for, you'll definitely need the green flower tape that you can find at the hobby stores. So I don't have any green tape with me just yet because I haven't really assembled my flowers into an arrangement yet. The next thing you're going to want to buy, and this is something that you need to buy exactly, is one of these paintbrushes. So this paintbrush is the number 11, and it is the Painter's Touch, and it is a flat paintbrush. This brush, a lot of people use it for their flowers, and it's a really good brush to have, and you'll definitely be using it a lot in other projects. So I definitely would invest in this paintbrush, in this exact one, or a number 11. Next, you're going to need something to mix your paints on. Something plastic, not anything like paper or anything like that. Something that you're not going to want to use ever again except for paint. So there's that. And then a cup for your water so you can water down your paints. There's a lot of different ways to assemble these roses. I found the best method is the one that I'm going to teach you today. Some other methods that you can do are the twist method. So the twist method doesn't really use any glue except to glue the stem in the rose. But basically you just use your tweezers or your hands and you twist, and you just keep twisting until you make a T rose. I didn't really like the way this method turned out, but I just wanted you to see how there are other methods out there, and they're okay. They're just not my favorite. So I did make 2 T roses like that, and I may or may not use these roses. I'm not sure. This is the metallic stone, so you can see how that metallic looks and turned out. This is also the Butter Pecan, so that's the taupe color. If you are looking for your roses to be uniform, this is the roses aren't going to turn out all exactly the same. So that's something to just keep in mind. If you're looking for a uniformed look, you might as well just buy flowers, silk flowers that are all the same. Because this is all the same method, it's just using the different coffee filters, painting them, and assembling them loose and tight. So this one was the bigger coffee filters, and I just didn't do a very tight fit. And you can tell that this is I used the buttermilk, and on the tips, on the very edges, I used the butter pecan just to give it some definition. Wow, it fell. This was my first rose that I attempted to do, and it turned out pretty well. This one I used the light buttermilk, and I tipped the ends with the butter pecan. So, and I will show you how I paint my roses as well. This was another technique, another twisting technique that used 3 coffee filter sheets and just a little bit different petals there, a different shape. So again, I really didn't like the twisting method. It was just not something that I thought was very easy for me to do. So that's why I didn't really make another one of those. But as you can see, all of the roses, they all turn out differently, but they're all really beautiful roses. These are roses that I made earlier. They are unpainted roses, and I will definitely show you how I am going to paint them. And I'm just going to show you another rose. All right, so we're going to go over to where I actually assemble the roses. So hang on just a second. I have to travel over there. Okay. You got my hands?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your paper clip, and you're just going to open it up, and that's all you're going to do with your paper clip. And you're just going to set that aside. So first you're going to take 1 coffee filter, and you're going to fold it in half. And then you're going to fold it in half again. And then you're going to fold it in half one more time. So your coffee filter will look like this. And you're going to want to make 7 of these. After you've folded your coffee filter, you're going to want to cut an ice cream cone shape. They don't all have to be perfect, but you're going to cut all 7 of them. And this will be discarded into the trash. So now you're ending up with this ice cream cone shape. You're going to open it up, and it's going to look like a heart. You're going to open it up one more time, and you're going to have 2 hearts. You're going to cut each filter down this center line right here. After you have 2 separate hearts, you're going to fold the tip of the heart about, what would you say, a quarter, not a quarter, just a half an inch up. And then you're going to set these aside. These are going to be your petals. The inner petals are going to be the same fold, but just a little different. You're going to take your coffee filter, You're going to fold it like you did before. Then you're going to fold it one more time. And then you're going to fold it into thirds. So you're going to fold it halfway. And then you're going to fold it the rest of the way. So it's going to end up looking like this. You're going to do the same thing. You're just going to make a round cut. And you're going to make 2 of these. So you're going to have 7 of the other one and 2 of these. So after you've cut your shape, you're going to open it up, and it's going to look like a peacock. And you're going to cut down that middle line. After you have 2, you're going to again fold that tip in and fold that tip in. So you'll end up with 4 of these, and you'll end up with what, 12 of these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of those. My bad. Okay, so now we're going to assemble our rows. So you're going to take one of your inner petals, and I just turned on the hot glue gun, so I don't know if it's ready yet. It's almost ready. I forgot my tweezers, so hopefully I don't burn my hands. So you're going to just place this in the center of your rows. And then you're going to fold inwards. Kind of fold it a little tight, pressing down. And that is the start of your rows. You're just going to keep doing that with your inner rose petals. So just make a line right here where you left off. And fold it and wrap it around. This is where you need the tweezers, because that glue is going to be really hot. And there is starting your inner petals. So real quickly, I'm going to show you how to assemble your outer petals. So you're just going to put glue here, and wherever it ends, you're going to want to place it there on the opposite side. And with glue, it'd be a lot easier. So you're just going to keep wrapping around, and it's going to end up look like that. And then you would wrap this around and just kind of play with the petals, kind of see where you need to adjust. Go on the other side, wrap around. And the looser you put the petals on, the more you have to open up the petals and to make them look more like a rose. So now we're going to go over and I'm going to show you how I paint my roses. So let's go to the table. Just pan right there, I need water. Okay, you guys, real quickly, I'm going to show you guys. So my brush, I neglected my brush. I had paint on it. I gotta break up the paint off of it. So I'm going to use, I'm going to use the peach. Okay. I'm going to get a rose here, and I'm going to get a plate, and we're going to be using the sugared peach. You just put a little bit of paint there. Oop. Dip it into the water, and you're just going to water it down. And then you're just going to paint your petals like that. Just going to go on the inside, paint them. And if it's too watery, just add some more paint. Make sure you shake them up. And just paint the outside of your petals here. Make sure you paint inside as well. I found this method to be the best method on painting the flowers. So that's how your flower is going to look. Now to add that dimension color, like I said, you're just going to use your butter pecan, and you can just put it right there, just a little bit because you don't need a lot. And sometimes I water this down, sometimes I don't. You just want to go lightly across those edges to make them a little bit more dimension. And I'm using just a light stroke on the flower. If it gets too dark for you, you can just water it down. But this just gives your flower a little bit more dimension. Alright, you guys, I will see you in the next video. I will also link where I've learned how to do these roses down below. And good luck.